Greetings, guys and girls, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with a live 1 versus 1 battle featuring spawning in the south. It is going to be the overcommand forces of Paoj, who's gone ahead and actually just like immediately selected a very rarely seen commander. It's like Overwatch Doctrine, is it? Yeah. Okay, cool. I could like even hardly remember his name. So, okay, gonna be Goliaths and all kinds of crazy tech coming soon. We'll discuss this more in just a second. But I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our player spawning in the north. It is gonna be the United States forces of Zarok. Two players who I have cast before, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you here, as I always am. I can't really remember anything about how these guys play at all, so it's gonna be a surprise to me. I have no predictions as to what kind of tactics or compositions they favour, so, well, let's just wait and see what happens, shall we? But anyway, turning my attention back towards the Overwatch Doctrine that we've seen picked very early here. I mean, you know, this is one of those doctrines which does provide a lot of very early buffs, so if you're going to pick it, picking it early is kind of cool. One of the things you get is the forward receiver things. So forward receivers lets your bases see further. I mean... your guess is as good as mine as to if we're actually ever going to see any benefit out of this. Firstly, I would say the bonus line of sight you get really isn't that much. Like, it's some, but it's not a lot. It doesn't really make those buildings see very far. It's probably useful, but it's just not that great. Like, the utility is not immense by any means. You also get the ability to construct Goliaths. They're 100 munitions a pop, and I love Goliaths. I've gotten some grimy hits with Goliaths, absolutely grimy hits. So I just have a lot of fun using them. I think at the higher levels of play they're pretty rubbish, but I think at the levels that I'm kind of being match made up against, you know, it's not impossible. In fact, like, I would say if I put my mind to it, I'd say like reliably, like maybe 1 or 2 or even 3 times a game, you'll get a squad wiping Goliath blast. You know, just because the people I play against are like me, they're not good enough to have constant awareness of all these things, and it only takes a split second for a Goliath to get in there, and boom, you know, you can. The blast on those things is pretty fierce. You can and will gib squads caught in that blast. It's nasty. Now, okay, so you also get the flares. Now, this I actually really like. The early warning flares, they're free, they get set up on every point that you've captured, and they provide a lot of line of sight. They do provide you with a lot of intel, and that's one of those things that's very hard to quantify as to how much advantage that gives you. Just being aware of your opponent's forces, where they've committed their units and things like that, allows you to play a much more cerebral style, allows you to commit your own forces far more appropriately. It is kind of a bizarre force multiplier, and it really helps, but it's very hard to actually say, you know, because of this happened. It's just one of those kind of like, it just makes you play smoother and more, I don't know, more betterer. Get on in there with the with the words, Magpie. So yeah, I really like the early warning flares. They're really good. For the Fatherland is a really sweet ability. If you remember to use it, it's actually quite cheap and it does last for 30 seconds. So you can spam it a little bit if you're, you know, if you feel like you have to. And okay, it only affects your units in your territory, but it provides them what, defensive bonus and a movement speed? Yeah. Okay. And that is noticeable. The defensive buff particularly can help you hold in those clutch situations where, you know, it can actually make the difference between holding and having to give way to an allied assault. So that's a very useful ability to have, I find. And finally, at 10 CP, you get the fairly brutal sector assault, and that is like an extended barrage of airborne explosives, which it's pretty gross. Like, it goes on for quite a long... What does it cost? 250? Yeah. But it is kind of, I think, worth it. It goes on for quite a long time and can be utterly devastating. So I do like this commander. I do like it. When it first came out, there was like a week or so where it was the only commander I was using, and I was getting a lot of money out, a lot of value out of it, sorry. But now, I don't know. I mean, the trouble is it doesn't really provide you any kind of real new units, unless you can count the Goliath as a unit. But it doesn't, you know, it's not like you can call in Fallschirmjäger or an Oswind or, like, you know, it doesn't let you change your tactics or add elements into your build in the same way as other commanders do. And to be honest, the rest of the abilities, okay, they let you play smoother and they let you play better, but if you're a good enough player, you can play that way really without these extras, and you can get a lot more value or utility out of the other commanders available, I think. So that's probably why we don't really see it picked very often. But anyway, I am happy to see it in this game. Looks like Zarok has gone ahead and picked his commander also. So he's gone for the heavy cavalry. So he's going to have access to the mines, the smoke barrage, the rangers, the, what's it, like tag team tactics or something? It's called combined arms, that's it. Where you can get your infantry to buff your tanks and vice versa. And of course that Pershing. Not that we ever see combined arms used. Like 125 munitions is ludicrously expensive for something like that. And I've never really seen it be used to any great effect. And I've never used it to any great effect. So I just think it's one of those abilities that honestly could use a look. I think that thing needs some help. Whoa! Lone Rifleman here. I think Zarok may have forgotten about this guy, which is quite easy to do when units are in buildings. Okay, he does get him out of there. Boom, and the fallback comes down. But damn, that was a little bit close. Actually, he's going to fall back right past these Storm Pioneers. I think even if Paoj is not paying any attention, this should be a squad wipe. Oh, there he goes. He gets absolutely gunned down. Turns out STG is quite good. Now, Captain is on the field, and he's going to come up into point-blank range, start taking on these Storm Pioneers. Does have a bit of light cover, but I think he's actually a little too close for that to be actually being effective. But the Tommy gun, pretty good at this range, and that will force a fallback on those Storm Pioneers. Actually, probably getting a lot of veterancy. Yeah, nearly half a level. Storm Pioneers, of course, worth quite a lot, so they do tend to feed quite a lot of veterancy. Now, there's a Goliath on the field. Paoj getting straight on out there with the early Goliath. And I imagine... I haven't heard any flares get fired actually yet, but they are on all of the points. But yeah, as soon as he sets off a flare, that's the warning for Zarok. Like, as soon as you see a flare go boom, and like, you know, boosh, and fire off one of these points that you walk onto, then you know, look out for Goliaths. That's if you didn't hear the Goliath, which, to be honest, you know, it's quite easy to do. They're actually quite loud. Okay. We've got Goliath on the field. That's going to be interesting. Exactly. Okay, there goes a flare. So Zarok knows. Okay, here's the flare. Zarok knows. He knows his peril. He knows the doom that awaits. So he's going to have to be extra vigilant and hyper-aware here to prevent Goliaths from making contact with his lines. But as long as he is so, those Goliaths shouldn't really achieve very much against him. Now let's see. I am damn impressed, by the way, with the map control that Zarok has been able to get, and constantly, doggedly attacking this this cutoff here has Zarok been, which is fantastic. Oh, Goliath's moving in. There's a good concentration of USF here. Oh, that Goliath they caught out in the open. It should be destroyed here. Yeah, there we go. Boom. In fact, maybe even damaging some of these Volks, which is a bit of a shame. These Volks need to GTFO. These are all very low, and this is a lot of American firepower coming on in here. So he has to respect that, does Paoj, and he's going to fall back. Whoa, he leaves his Kuba wagon. That is almost certainly a dead Kuba wagon. Yep, that's a dead Kuba, I would have thought. There's no way that this many riflemen... Oh, hang on. Nope, I called that one. Okay, yep. No. I was right. But only because some veterancy came through and he was able to throw an AT grenade. But it's all good. The Kuba wagon will be destroyed. Another Goliath on the build queue, and I do like this. But I have to say, this is a problem with this commander. Like, those Goliaths ain't cheap. 100 munitions is a big ask, and this is now 200 he's spent on Goliaths. And let's not forget, the first one did nothing. So, yeah, now he's now spent 200. And like, the thing is, if you do keep using Goliaths, you will find it very hard to put STGs on your Volks, very hard to put Shreks on your Panzer, on your Storm Pioneers, and you know. You'll just find it hard to use munitions-based abilities, is what I'm saying. Now, looks like Zarok has finally managed to break out of the belt which was surrounding his base. He's actually on the map and he's pushing hard now. He's getting the Eastern VP, he's getting the Mid VP. He's got American forces swarming out onto the map. I like his army. He's actually getting Rangers at almost the earliest possible juncture here. So 400 manpower has been spent. Damn, how has he got so much manpower? He's like 4 rifle squads, a captain, and some Rangers, and he's floating nearly 300 at like the 8-minute mark. That's... Wow, that's not too bad. So anyway, yeah, Rangers going to be out on the map. How much are Tommy guns for Rangers? Are they like 80 or something? 90, okay. So yeah, Tommy guns have already been purchased. They'll be coming down. That's going to make those Rangers into pretty much the Kingmaker on the field. They will by far be the strongest squad on the field. Okay, there we go. The Tommy guns finish. And I believe these Storm Pioneers may well be the first to taste their wrath in just a second here. Wow, Paoj is so determined. He absolutely understands the importance of attacking this point, doesn't he? And here come the Rangers. They were in a nice position, ready to go, and they just get straight up on top of the high-value Storm Pioneers, focusing them down very quickly. Paoj is going to have to fall back, I think. Get the Storm Pioneers out of there! Okay, he gets them out of there, but slightly late. Grenade comes down. Bit of a whiff. I know, getting some damage onto the Volks. Fair enough. But the Rangers actually getting cut down to size, and an incendiary grenade going to absolutely force the fallback there. But still getting a lot of value and still getting a star of veterancy in their opening engagement there. So that's testament to exactly how much damage they caused in that fight. So I don't mind that trade at all. Crippling 2 squads and forcing one of them back is nice. Goliath here lurking at the back here for Paoj, so remain cognizant of that. And like snipers dying, I imagine I'm going to miss like almost all of the Goliath hits, but we'll see. Stuart going to be the choice here, as you might imagine, following up a captain. A Goliath is actually going to be pretty effective against a Stuart if the Stuart, like, you know, if you ever manage to get that hit. I don't think you ever would, but, like, it would be funny. How is this? Oh, yeah, no, that is, of course, because there's a crater there. Okay. That's the crater from the previous Goliath, isn't it? There we go. Oh, a little bit of synergy there. That's a combo. Whoa, we've got a Puma coming. What the? I have not been paying attention to the tech. Whoa, he's got what? He's got battalion. What? Okay, cool. Well, he's got Battle Gripper, and he's got Mechanized Reg. Well, I think I quite like this. I think this is actually pretty spicy. And a Puma is going to set him in great stead, especially against UKF. He's getting another Goliath as well, actually. So it looks like Paoj reasonably fluent with this commander. He certainly seems to have a style which he's prepared, or some kind of build that he's comfortable with here that we're seeing executed. And this doesn't seem like improvisational play. I think this is like he's playing this out according to a recipe or something. I mean, I don't know, Sea Captain, build Puma, seems good. So anyway, here comes the Puma, making use of the boosted speed on the roads, and that is... Oh, I just missed a Goliath going off, but I don't think it got anything. I think it was actually gunned down by American forces there. Puma comes in, going to announce itself, unfortunately, with a miss. So Zarok now knows about the Puma. That's going to limit the range and the freedom with which this Stuart can operate. Oh, no. He's just constantly rolling misses, though. Oh, my goodness me. This Puma is just unable to... Oh, no, he's going to pop smoke and then sit still. Ooh, not sure about that. Risky as... Oh my god, he's so risky with this. Remember, these guys here have a rifle grenade that they can use. AT rifle grenade. Oh no, and the Puma's so wounded. Okay, he's gonna get that one out of there. Oh, he's playing with my heart here. He's playing with my adrenaline levels. God, I love Pumas though. They're probably they're probably like my second favorite unit in Micro. Maybe they're just really fun. Okay, so we've got a skirmish going on here for the middle VP. That seems to be where the majority of the fighting is going on. There are some rear echelons down here to the south. A Goliath is lurking on a nearby truck, but doesn't seem to be acting right now. Got an ambulance coming on out. I was watching GG the Machine doing some casting the other day, actually, and I love... He calls ambulances an ambo, which, like, shout out to GG. That's just... I think that's like an Aussie thing. Like, it's an ambo, mate. Let's go to Macca's. What? But yeah, seriously. I just like the ambo. Ambo is nice. I might have to borrow that one from his vernacular. So yeah, looks like Paoj here. Gonna be getting an ambo, and wow, Rangers get up on top of these Volks. That's a slaughter. Like, each Volk is just lining up to come to this window and get gunned down by Tommies, which is pretty harsh. Whoa, we got a Luke's on the field. Bam, bam, bam. That's the sound of the 2cm autocannon. Wow, oh, it's been too long since the dulcet tones of that beautiful unit have graced my ears. Remember in the olden days when, like, the Luke's was, like, in the Schwerpanzer HQ and, like, people would use it, actually, reasonably often? Yeah. And then when they moved it to the mech reg and people used it even more often because you could get them out, like, turbo early. But then just, it seems like recently Overcommand players have just given up on the Luke's. I haven't seen one for like the longest time. But they're a beautiful unit, you know, and if you get them to 2-star vet, the DPS is real. And if you get them to, what, 4-star, do they suppress that? Or is it 5? You do need vet 5, but that's the point at which they basically just become broken. Turns out a Luke's that can suppress is just like, doesn't bear thinking about. I like the way he's using these Goliaths. Paoj here just creeps them up, keeping them constantly cloaked and just supporting his units, waiting for, like, an opportunity to just kind of cause some mayhem. So he's being quite savvy with the Goliaths. Again, makes me think like he's quite familiar with this commander. And I have to say, I kind of like the way he's not getting any STGs on his Volks. The STG upgrade is just kind of a bit of a double-edged sword for me, and I don't really like it. Very, very quick fallback there from Paoj. Great timing. Sorry, from Zarok, my bad. Yeah, I don't really like the STG upgrade because you sacrifice 2 of your rifles, so the squad's less good at range, and you get 2 STGs, which makes it, like, reasonable at mid and close. But it's like, overall, it's like, I don't know, it's just I don't really feel like I'm getting, like, any real utility out of it. Like, I don't know. It's just like you end up with a jack-of-all-trades unit, which is, like, kind of meh at point blank and kind of meh at mid-range and kind of meh at long range, which is like, I don't know. I'm not really sure that that's a very good unit to have. So I gotta say, STG Volks I have been having a hard time with recently. I just have not really been getting my value for money out of them. Anyway, we've got a big old fight here. The Luke's is doing pretty well, but has to be forced back out of this fight. These Volks need to fall back as well. Have they been forgotten about? Paoj? No, these guys are just getting McSlouted. Okay, there comes the fallback nicely. And this is a good old game of Company of Heroes 2 we got on our hands here. Light vehicles, skirmishing, two pretty skilled players here. I haven't seen any massive mistakes out of either of them. In fact, I don't think I've really seen anything you could really say that is just flat out wrong. So, yeah, looks like we could be getting set up here for a beautiful little mid game. Mixing on in one of the M1 AT guns, that's going to give the American player Paoj here a lot of play against that Puma and, of course, the Lukes. So that makes a lot of sense to include that into his composition. Getting his third truck out right now is Paoj, and so he'll be looking to establish a Schwer Vermacht Schlepper into the Schwer Panzer HQ somewhere out on the map. I'll be honest with you, I just like saying those things, so anyway. Puma and the Lukes here gonna lead the assault. These Rangers getting churned up by the Lukes, that's so bad. And the Stuart forced out by the superior AT capabilities of the Puma, so nice little play here. And I remember I used to run a build like this reasonably often where I used to go mech reg and then I used to get the Lukes and the Puma out. And they kind of feel like wind-up toys, you know, like you just kind of wind up the little spring in them and then you kind of like unleash them on your opponent and they just kind of like bop around the place like whacking your opponents and then you got to like bring them back and repair and like wind them up again. So I always used to call this my wind-up toys build. There's some useless information about me that you'll never, you know, that's completely valueless. Thanks, Magpie, pro commentary. It's cool, I'm here all week. But seriously, wow, mixing in another AT gun. Well, that seems like a good idea. Up to 4 squads of rifles. And the Rangers and the Captain. It's a nice force composition here from Zarok. I like it a lot. For Paoj, we've got 2 MG34s. You can hear them clattering away. We've also got the 2 Goliaths, Puma, the Lukes, 3 Volks. So yeah, pretty good force composition for both these players. Now I'm wondering if okay, yeah, Zarok definitely knows because he's seen the Rangers, so he definitely knows the choice of his opponent. So I would like to see him get a metal detector on his Storm Pioneers like ASAP. Whoa, the Stuart actually taking big bikes out of the Puma. Ooh, he's going to have to get out of there with the Puma. Lukes is going to try and like throw itself in here to try and like buy some time. And the Puma is going to exfiltrate very nicely there. I like that a lot. Wow, that's really good. And just another shout out to Paoj here for the fantastic map control he's been able to exert this game. It's not often we're used to seeing United States forces like have like sub 50% map control for the first, what, 17 minutes of the game now. I don't really feel like Zarok's ever been able to, you know, make a play for any land on the other side of the map, really, this whole game. So very nicely done from Paoj. The early tanks... Oh, that was a Goliath. I did not see if that got anything. I think it got the Captain. There's a lot of body parts here, so I'm pretty sure it got the Captain. Brutal! I told you I'd miss all the squad wipes on Goliaths. I'm living up to that promise. So, yep, okay, well, that's fantastic. Oh, another Goliath thinking about making a move here. Dun, 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 dun. It's like lurking behind the shop. Like, oh, he could try and come in for the flank here. I would be amazed if Zarok didn't see it coming, but he could. Volk's here in desperate need. Oh, the other Goliath causing a flash fallback. The AT gun can't do that, though. Luckily there's 2 AT guns, so this one on the right can cover the one on the left as it falls back. And the looks like the Goliath actually not in camo. Okay, now it's in camo, so gonna get out of there. But some edgy plays. Wow, I really like this game, actually. The Overwatch Commander, like, you don't get to see it often, and it's just nice. You know, it makes for quite an edgy, exciting game. I'm not saying it's a good commander, and I'm certainly not recommending anyone necessarily take it, but I've got to say, I'm liking the style here from Paoj. Going for, like, the early Battle Gripper and Mech Reg, and then following up with a Puma and a Lukes is actually pretty good against USF, it seems. I can't really say that I've seen this style played recently. Which again, I mean, it might just be what all of the top level players are doing these days. I just don't really know. I don't really cast enough games. Yeah, this is certainly like a first for me seeing this style. Where's the other MG34? Oh, okay, he's covering mid with it. Oh, this is actually quite a sophisticated style that we're seeing from Paoj. He's actually making Overcommand look pretty good. And you know what? One of the reasons for that, perhaps, he's not wasted 330 manpower building a single lag. It's amazing how good your army is if you don't waste stuff on them. So here comes the UKF all reinforced and ready to rock. Stuart leading the charge here. 2 AT guns backing it up. Wow, Zarok, though, is just consistently butting his head against this area of the map, and I feel with the MGs already pre-set up, you know, this is like the second, maybe third time he's just tried to smash his way on in here, and it's not really working. I would not hate him just relocating everything and just trying for a massive push through here, and just like trying to access the map through that route. You know, sometimes you've got to mix up your tactics a bit. Anyway, Puma's in town, going to take some shots here at the Stuart. Still suffering some accuracy issues, but it is stationary now. Boom, great hits, and the whoa! What? Oh man, the Goliath actually coming through for the kill, and that, sorry, not a kill. The Stuart's actually abandoned. Ooh, spicy. So I wonder if the Puma is going to be able to convert that to a kill. He comes forward, and he does. Yeah, nicely done. The Lukes, where's the Lukes in all this? Okay, it's kind of falling back. Surely he wants the Lukes around about here to help out with this assault. Where's the other AT gun for the American player? Oh my god, there's just action going on everywhere right now. Oh, and that's the sound of a US mortar as well. So, okay, wow, yeah, the mortar is here, starting to hoon shells in. Such a rate of fire on that beast. Absolutely brutal. So, yeah, where are those AT guns? One here. Okay, so they're still here. All right. Oh! Oh, that was a Goliath. Did that just get hit by a mortar? I'm pretty sure that didn't blow anything up. Nah, I don't think that blew anything up, so okay. Goliath goes off, doesn't seem to get anything. Adding on like 2 MG34s? Wow, Paoj. I guess US infantry is really good, and so you use machine guns. That actually make that. I mean, that seems pretty savvy to me. How much pop cap is an MG34? It's like 5, isn't it, or something? Yeah, 5. So yeah, you can actually have quite a few MG34s, can't you? I am taking notes, Paoj. You are almost selling OKW back to me. Ugh, these Volks just getting wastificated though. Rangers are so brutal. They are so good. Okay, here comes a Lukes for a bit of support, but the mortar is still landing shells into this building. Damn though, I mean, look at the VP situation. Like, Paoj is just like ruthless. He's at 461 over 145 against a US player who has not been doing badly. Like, as far as I know, he's only dropped like the steward and the captain. And like, we're at the 21-minute mark and Paoj is just doing fantastically here. Oh god, this Luke's just doing yet more drive-by filth. And he's going to be at 2-star with this thing now, and now the rate of fire comes down. And if you remember, I said earlier, but I'll say it again, this is when the DPS becomes real because the rate of fire buff kicks in. So this Luke's is now like acid death to infantry caught under its autocannon. What the hell? We've got like storm pioneers breaking through to the back here, like decapping shizzle all over the place. My god, Zarok is like, why is he so determined to hold this area? I feel like this whole game he's been attacking that area. He really needs to like pivot and just try something different because, I mean, he's losing and he needs to change something because he can't keep losing because then he'll like, you know, lose the game, and that's, you know, that's like, oh wow, MG34 gets set up with like all the weapon teams in Arc. Oh, this is a killing field that he's set up. Oh my god, I would love for him to push with the other MG as well. Just like get that one set up like here, or maybe even like here if he's feeling turbo brave. I think here is probably best. Anyway, okay, so that MG34 does get kicked out of town by the mortars. At last, they do manage to shut that one down. Looks like the Luke's being repaired back at base. This is so cool as well. Getting the early mech red means that you've got those engineers to do your repairing, which actually frees the Storm Pioneers up to be making those back of the line run, behind the line runs. Is that them back here? Oh no, those are Volks running that one. But anyway. Yeah, this is just a spicy build. Up to 4 MG34s. But why not, you know? They're pretty cheap. What are they? 230 manpower or something. And they are just good against infantry. And US has amazing infantry, and that's traditionally the problem when you're playing as Overcommand. I mean, it's like Riflemen, especially with any kind of BAR or 1919 LMG, they're pretty hard to deal with. The American officers, likewise, pretty hard to deal with. Rangers, pretty hard to deal with. So, yeah, MG34s, FT dubs, this is pretty sweet. Now, the double mortar, I'm not going to lie to you, is an appropriate counter, and they have actually been getting some sweet hits. 6 kills, plus 1 kill on the other, 2 stars of veterancy on one of them. Testament to how well they've been doing, but, I mean, this position seems very fragile. There's no 50 cal garrisoning these guys or anything. Oh no, this AT gun just being sent a little too far forwards, and there's an MG34 here who's way too keen to take advantage of that. The Lukes comes forwards, takes a shot to the chin. I hope Paoj is paying attention here. Yeah, he's going to get that one out of there. No great shakes. Here comes Storm Pioneers. Now, they are 2-star, so their guns are, I mean, that's when they get the accuracy buff. So, is it accuracy? Yeah, weapon control, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, that's when they start doing way more damage. Boom, picks up this AT gun. So nice. And that, actually, the Puma could come forward and focus that down. Looks like actually Zarok gonna recruit that one at his earliest convenience instead. MG34 here on incendiary ammo, just doing work against these weapon teams as well. It's been a long time since I've seen USF look like this far on the back foot, and now a Pershing has arrived. And this is going to change a lot of things, because this will just like, you know, this has just a pretty decent chance to just one-hit any of these weapon teams. And that makes life really, really hard. So, Paoj, how much fuel are you on? 282, some manpower. So, I think we're going to see the KT sooner rather than later. And the KT plus Rakettenwerfer plus Puma plus Faust. I mean, that's a toolkit to work with against a Pershing, for sure. Okay, Pershing's shot going a little far there, only doing like 2/3 of the health of this unit down. He's going to get one more shot. But okay, no. And the Puma, brave Puma. So brave. This is too brave, that Puma. Puma, you need smoke. Okay, no, Puma goes down. That was just a throwaway of a Puma, and I have to say that's Paoj's first real mistake in this game. I think that was just a totally needless loss. Okay, he got some good damage on the Pershing, but I wouldn't justify losing a 2-star Puma for that much damage on a Pershing. Not unless he had some supporting units nearby in order to like try and get a kill together. And, whoa, tons of Volks Grenadiers getting destroyed there. Looks like the squad was not wiped, but those mortars actually just like smashing stuff to pieces. But look, I mean, when was the last time Zarok like attacked like this area of the map? Like, he just hasn't. And he's down at 90 now. 90, and he's desperately flailing to try and control. I mean, he's bleeding at 2 per tick right now, under 451. I mean, oof. This has been a very convincing game from Paoj here. And now the KT is on the field. Oh, I love the camo. Oh, that KT. I'm getting a little distracted by this KT. I'm aware that there's action going on, but ooh. Ooh, it's just cool. All right. So the Pershing here is pretty exposed. KT comes in from the flank, takes a shot, doesn't hit, clips the wall. Might get one more now. And, okay, well, the big cat is here and has announced its presence, and it's still got a Lukes to back it up as well, which is pretty important. In fact, he's nearly got the fuel to replace that Puma, which I almost wouldn't hate. Another Lukes would also be fine. Yeah. Where's this KT going? Looks like he's just going to take up position in mid. Wow, Zarok actually very slow to repair this Pershing. It's just been damaged forever. Where are his echelons? Remember, of course, the Pershing you can't hop the crew out of, so that's not an option. And in fact, bearing that in mind, maybe he needs to just get the crew out of this ambulance and send them over. Because I think vehicle crews repair faster and better than echelons, so he could put the echelons in the ambo if he really wants to. In the ambo, might. Pershing takes a shot here, but takes a counter biff to the nose from the KT, and now it's just a straightforward AT war. Rifle grenades going to be popping off these riflemen, so I imagine we'll see a busted engine on the KT sooner rather than later. Pershing coming forwards, that's so risky, really? Oh my god, actually, the KT taking sickening, withering fire. Those AT guns at the back, so potent, and in fact, the KT forced to scuttle for its life here. 75% or more damage on that unit. Wow, that was actually just really, really punishing fire there from the American forces. But it almost doesn't matter, because Zarok's still winning, and he's still bleeding out Paoj, and I don't really feel like he's that much closer to dislodging the overcommand player from this position. I think he needs to, if he can get his mortars to, like, here, which is risky AF, but if he can get them there, then he can start, like, sieging down these machine guns and get onto this position. But until then, he's going to have just a really hard time making any headway. Okay, finally repairing the Pershing. That's vital. The KT likewise being repaired. The repair rate on our Storm Pioneers, as ever, totally good. So that's going to... I think the KT is going to be field ready before the Pershing, even though it has way more health. Oh no, and the Rangers just... The early Rangers were a really nice choice, and I love it, but they just hard countered by the Lukes. Like, just... And they're still only 2-star, despite having been on the field since, like, the 4th minute or something, you know? And we've still got Goliath scuttling around, like, one here, one here, one here, just in menacing locations, just ready, just waiting, making life really hard for Zarok. It's just nice. I'm just loving the style from Paoj. I'm impressed. I am legitimately impressed. And look, if an American assault starts getting close, you know, he can just whack on the old for the fatherland, and that'll really help. Oh, the Luke's getting a little bit... Oh, I'd be wary on that Luke's. Okay, yeah, Pershing comes across to try for it, but... Oh, the Goliath is in position, getting a savage hit on the Pershing. Luke's does go down, though. The AT gun's in position to capitalize on that one, so Zarok is punished, but I mean, that Goliath hit on the Pershing, just like, mwah. Excelente. It's just nice stuff here. And now look, oh god, the MG34s. You really going to take this point? Smoke comes down, but I mean, oh, there's another Goliath making a run here. The AT guns are forced back. The Goliath is making a run. It'll get pounded down by the Pershing. You've got to think the Pershing start taking aim. Boom! It's a miss, though! And the Goliath's going to get up on top of these AT guns. Gets one of them. Oh my god, Paoj actually making Goliaths kind of look okay somehow. Ah, and another one goes off over here. Christ! If I'm Zarok right now, my heart rate's up in the like 180 plus region, and like, I don't know, my eyes are like red and my hands are shaking on the keyboard and mouse, because I mean, like, it's like Imagine playing against mobile demo charges that have, like, you know, camo.
Do something! We're down to 10 points, damn it!
And the triple cap is established, and that will be GG. Paoj. With just a ferocious display of force against what is, for my money right now, the premium allied faction. Wow. I'm so impressed. That's the first time I've seen Overcommand look like a good faction for, like, such a long time. This is how I'm going to play Overcommand now. Damn. Okay, so let's try and remember. Oh, you see, I wasn't actually paying attention to which of these structures he got first, but I think it was the Battle Gripper, and then he got the Mech Reg. I'm going to have to watch this video back myself, because I wasn't sure what the order was on that. And then he got, what was it, two squads of Volks, I think it was, and then a Kettenwerfer. Oh, you see, I can't remember the build, but I'm gonna have to go back and look over this, because that was absolutely savage. And I do realize, you know, you can't just use that build every time. You know, I mean, it helped that the American player went for captain, because that played into the Puma, and you know, there's a lot of like adjustment points. Like, but you know, if you see lieutenant, then you just go for. I mean, well, I suppose the Puma could still be effective in those circumstances because it counters the utility car and the AA half track. But I mean, you know, you have the toolkit with this foundation. With this foundation, you have the toolkit. It doesn't matter what the American player goes for, as long as you have the information, you can pick units from these two structures that will be effective against the American player's choice. So I am a great fan of going for both of these buildings and then going for the Puma and the Lukes, the good old wind-up toys, sending them in, and then going against USF, going like MG heavy. That was pivotal, man. I mean, that was what provided the map control. I am sold on MG34s again. Like, that was just great. He was able to keep them back so well, and then using the Goliaths just like spread across the map, constantly just edging them forwards, supporting his troops with them, looking for opportunities, and finding some as well. At this high level of play, I am not used to seeing Goliaths find hits. So, wow, great game from Paoj. Pleasure to cast. And yeah, I kind of feel a little bit lucky that I managed to find this game, because like I say, it's been a long time since I've seen Overcommand take a convincing game. Nicely done, nicely done. So thanks very much for watching, and this for now is Magpie842 signing out.